My husband brought a female stray cat home and spoiled her like his most precious treasure. He strictly told me never to take the cat to get spayed. One afternoon I got off work early and arrived home ahead of schedule. I caught a feral tomcat climbing through the window to mate with his beloved female kitten. I instantly reached for my phone intending to snap photos to show my husband later. Suddenly floating bullet comment streams popped across my field of vision out of nowhere. Lamau, the side character wife, is still standing there taking pictures. She has no clue that this tomcat is actually her husband transformed via the transmigration system. The female lead kitten is so clever to use the system to turn into a cat and move into his house openly to stay close to him. The male lead dotes on her so deeply, he even used the system to shift into a cat form himself. He's mating with the female kitten right in front of his legal wife. What a thrilling secret affair. I stared blankly at the two tangled felines on the living room carpet. I slowly lowered my smartphone down to my side. I finally understood the whole terrible truth. These two cats were my husband and his secret mistress trapped in animal bodies. I turned around and grabbed the pet travel carrier by the entryway shoe rack. I stuffed both cats inside the enclosed crate one after another. I dialed the local animal hospital's landline number immediately. Hello, I need to schedule spay and neuter surgeries for two cats right now. One male, one female. I will bring them over immediately. Before we release the next chapter update, please hit the follow button and turn on notification bells so you never miss new episodes. My husband's name is Ethan Hayes. He owns a handsome facial appearance matching his elegant given name. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall with sharp, defined facial features and a straight high nose bridge. His jawline is crisp enough to cut steak cleanly. He works as a product manager at a Seattle tech corporation. His annual pre-tax salary reaches over $120,000. Within our circle of acquaintances, he counts as a highly eligible bachelor turned spouse. We have been legally married for 3 full years. Our married life is plain and unremarkable. Just like a glass of room temperature boiled water left sitting out too long. It holds no scalding heat nor distinct sweet flavor whatsoever. Ethan and I met through mutual friend introduction, a very ordinary romantic origin story. We grabbed dinner together and watched feature-length films on multiple dates. We judged each other's living conditions and personalities to be compatible enough for marriage. We submitted our marriage license application at the Washington County Clerk office shortly after. There were no grand romantic gestures nor impassioned wedding vows between us. We lived together merely like 2 roommates splitting household expenses evenly. We drew clear lines dividing monthly financial responsibilities. He covers the majority portion of our downtown Seattle apartment mortgage payment. I take charge of daily grocery costs and all house cleaning labor. Every single shared expense is split 50-50 without exception. I long viewed Ethan as an emotionless, well-organized machine. Nothing ever stirs dramatic mood swings out of him. The only incident that made me sense a trace of humanity from him happened 1.5 months prior. He came home extremely late after overtime office shifts that night. His tailored suit jacket bulged oddly as if he had hidden something inside its inner pocket. I curled up on the fabric sectional watching a streaming reality show on the living room television. I caught him sneaking into the master bedroom in a suspicious hasty manner out of the corner of my eye. He only emerged several minutes later with the jacket completely flat and empty. "What did you hide in your coat?" I asked him directly. He paused briefly with an awkward stiff expression on his face. "Nothing at all." I chose not to press him for further details. Ethan always maintains strict personal boundary lines. He never allows me to unlock or scroll through his private cell phone. He never volunteers information about his daily whereabouts either. I have grown accustomed to this cold dynamic between us. We each mind our own business without intruding on one another's private space. Yet the very next morning, heard faint tiny meows echoing from deep inside our apartment. The soft high-pitched cries drifted out from a corner of the master closet. I followed the sound trail to investigate. I found a cardboard storage box tucked at the bottom closet shelf. Inside rested an extremely young kitten roughly 2 to 3 months old. Her entire coat is snow white fur apart from a thin light gray patch right on top of her head. It looked just like a smudge of gray ink accidentally spilled onto white fabric. She curled up tight on an old cotton hand towel. Her round oversized eyes hold an extremely pale amber iris hue. When she gazes up at you, they resemble two glass marbles soaked in thick golden honey. Isn't she adorable? Ethan's voice sounded from directly behind my back. His tone carried a soft tenderness I had never heard him use before. I twisted my head to glance over at him. He leaned casually against the bedroom doorframe with a faint gentle smile tugging his lips. Every ounce of his attention locked firmly onto the tiny kitten curled in the box. His facial expression softened to a melting warm degree. Did you pick her up off the street? Yes. I found her huddled beside concrete flower beds outside the office building entrance during heavy rain. She was soaked head to toe from the pouring storm water. He stepped forward and carefully cupped the small cat in both palms. The kitten instantly nestled her head into his palm and emitted deep rumbling purrs of satisfaction. I stood there watching the scene, feeling genuine surprise wash over me. I never expected Ethan to display such compassion for a stray animal. He is a calculating, self-serving man by nature. He normally even takes wide detours to avoid passing homeless elderly beggars on city sidewalks. Yet he could feel sympathetic for a helpless stray kitten? Fine, you may keep her, but we need to set a clear rule ahead of time. You alone handle all litter box cleaning and feeding duties. I will not take part. He agreed to the terms without a moment's hesitation. His eyes never left the small white kitten's form for a single second. The very next morning he drove to a local independent pet boutique. He purchased mountains of high-end cat supplies all at once. Imported grain-free kitten kibble, goat milk formula, nutritional paste supplements, plush cat beds, multi-level cat trees, feather wand toys, and dozens of other specialized feline products I could not even name. He pulled each item out one by one from large paper shopping bags. He laid all merchandise neatly across our living room hardwood floor. He arranged everything as meticulously as if furnishing a newborn baby's nursery. Is this level of overkill truly necessary? I questioned him from the sectional sofa. I watched sweat beads form across his forehead as he assembled the tall wooden cat tree frame. How could it not be necessary? He replied without lifting his head. She is still a tiny fragile baby kitten and deserves the best care possible. I clicked my tongue quietly and stopped arguing with him entirely. That same night he drew warm bathwater for the kitten. He dried her fur strand by strand with a low-heat hairdryer with meticulous care. After finishing the grooming routine, he held the cat against his chest to name her. Her name shall linger, he murmured while gently scratching her chin fur. Short for never letting go of the one you miss endlessly. I repeated the name silently to myself inside my head. A strange uncomfortable feeling lingered, yet I could not pinpoint exactly why it felt off. As the following weeks passed, Ethan's doting obsession with the kitten spiraled out of sight rapidly. He wakes up at 6 a.m. sharp every single morning to prepare fresh homemade kitten meals. He chops chicken breast meat finely and mixes it with soft egg yolk. He steams the mixture thoroughly, then cools it down to body temperature before serving it on a tiny ceramic saucer for Linger. He does not even spare 5 minutes to eat his own breakfast each day. He only chugs a cup of black espresso coffee, then hurries out the apartment front door for work. He bought over a dozen miniature designer outfits for the kitten. Ruffled princess dresses, soft knit sweaters, denim vests, and even luxury brand matching hair clips imported from overseas. Linger hates wearing clothing and rolls wildly across the carpet the second you place any garment on her body. Ethan patiently cycles through every outfit one by one repeatedly until he finds a single piece she tolerates without throwing tantrums. He mounted a wireless pet surveillance camera in our living room wall. While stuck at his corporate office, he pulls up the live camera feed every 10 minutes without fail. If Linger is curled up napping peacefully, he speaks softly through the built-in microphone speaker. Good girl Linger, Daddy will hurry home after finishing work hours. If Linger plays with her feather wand toys, he grins foolishly into the screen with complete affectionate fondness. One midnight I got up to use the restroom. I found the master bedroom empty with no sign of Ethan anywhere inside. I walked out into the living area and spotted him stretched flat across the sectional sofa. Linger lay curled fully on top of his chest fast asleep. Both human and kitten slumbered peacefully side by side. Moonlight streamed through the floor-to-ceiling apartment windows, spilling over their intertwined figures. The quiet scene looked as serene as a sacred oil painting hanging in a fine art gallery. I stood in the hallway observing them for a long stretch of time. I could not pinpoint my exact inner emotional state. It was not jealous resentment toward a house cat. I would never sink low enough to compete for affection with a feline animal. I only felt a hollow sense of disorientation settle deep in my chest. My husband poured every last drop of gentle warmth he possessed onto this stray kitten. All he ever offered to me was distant polite civility with zero genuine warmth attached. Still, daily life continued moving forward as usual. Until one Saturday afternoon when Ethan brought up a specific request to me. I rarely had to clock into weekend overtime shifts, so I relaxed reading a hardcover novel on the sofa. Linger curled atop the highest platform of the cat tree sunbathing. Her tail flicked lazily back and forth through the warm sunlight beams. Ethan walked out of our kitchen holding a mug of brewed coffee. He sat down on the sofa seat directly across from mine. Briar. He spoke my given name out loud. I looked up from my book pages. Don't take Linger to get spayed at the animal clinic under any circumstances. I lifted my head fully to stare at him in utter surprise. All responsible cat owners know spaying and neutering is basic standard common sense pet care. Even though I do not personally raise cats, I fully understand the stray overpopulation crisis across Seattle neighborhoods. Linger is a female cat. If left unspayed, she will scream and yowl loudly throughout every heat cycle, disturbing all residents inside our high-rise apartment building. What reasoning makes you oppose the procedure? He remained silent for several heartbeats before responding to my question. I believe spaying surgery is excessively cruel toward her. She is a complete living creature with natural reproductive rights that we have no authority to strip away. Are you truly serious about this viewpoint? His tone stayed steady and unwavering without a hint of joking amusement. I have already thought this through thoroughly. Once Linger matures fully, if she desires a mating partner, I will find a suitable male cat for her. I refuse to subject her to painful surgical recovery periods. I locked my eyes onto his facial features for 10 full uninterrupted seconds. I verified he was absolutely not making lighthearted jokes with me. Very well. This cat belongs to you, so you make all final decisions regarding her care. I lowered my gaze back to the printed novel text in my hands. Yet an odd, uneasy inkling spread slowly through my mind like black pigment diluting clear water. When exactly did Ethan develop such extreme empathetic compassion for small animals? Linger reached 5 months old and entered her first heat cycle. I returned home from evening work hours and unlocked the apartment front door. Sharp, mournful yowling cries echoed instantly throughout every room of our unit. Linger rolled repeatedly back and forth across the living room carpet. Her spine arched upward sharply, with her hind legs scraping wildly against the floor surface. When she spotted me entering the space, she darted over to rub her ankles against my calves constantly. She rolled over again, emitting even more miserable, drawn-out wails. Ethan had not arrived home from work yet. I stood alone staring at the heat-stricken kitten with no clue how to soothe her discomfort. I knelt down and gently stroked the fur along her spine. Her body burned with abnormal high temperature beneath my fingertips. Her vertebrae trembled violently under the light pressure of my palm. She flipped onto her back and rubbed her head hard against my wrist with watery, glossy eyes. It appeared as if she held 2 pools of unshed tears trapped in her irises. All right, stop crying at me. I cannot relieve your heat cycle urges for you. I pulled my smartphone out and typed a text message to Ethan via Instagram Messenger. Your kitten daughter is in heat, come back home as quickly as possible. He replied to my message within 1 single second, I'm en route home immediately. 10 minutes later he burst through the apartment front door gasping for breath. He clutched a paper bag of fresh catnip stems in one shopping hand. The second he spotted Linger's heat-distressed state, his facial color drained completely pale. He rushed forward to scoop the kitten up into his arms with anxious sorrow lacing his voice. There, sweet Linger, Daddy's right here to comfort you, the discomfort will fade soon. Linger twisted and wriggled constantly inside his embrace while continuously rubbing her chin against his jawline. I researched all relevant pet care articles online already, Ethan explained while gently petting her back fur. Heat cycles typically last 3 to 7 consecutive days. We need to stay home with her to offer comfort during this period. Make absolutely certain she cannot slip outside the apartment windows or encounter any stray tomcats wandering the neighborhood. If we skip spaying surgery, she will enter heat cycles every 2 to 3 weeks without pause. I reminded him of this critical long-term consequence. He fell quiet briefly before replying to my statement. I have already formulated a full plan to resolve this issue. Once this current heat cycle ends, I will contact a registered reputable cattery to arrange a purebred ragdoll tomcat breeding match for her. I parted my lips intending to argue against this decision, yet ultimately said nothing aloud. This cat is his sole responsibility to manage after all. Surprisingly, Linger showed zero interest in the planned purebred ragdoll breeding partner Ethan intended to source for her. The shocking incident unfolded on a random Tuesday afternoon. I finished my work shift several hours ahead of my regular schedule and returned home early with a light, cheerful mood. I planned to take a warm shower, then order takeout pasta delivery to unwind for the entire evening undisturbed. The moment I twisted the apartment doorknob open, my line of sight locked onto the living room bay windowsill. A large dark gray feral tomcat perched atop the glass ledge. He was clearly a stray outdoor feline with a bulky muscular frame. And Linger, the kitten Ethan spoiled rotten beyond measure, lay pinned underneath the stray tomcat's body. The two felines intertwined fully with no attempt to hide their mating position whatsoever. The feral tom clamped his jaws lightly onto the nape of Linger's neck. His hips thrust rapidly in repeated rhythmic motions against her small frame. Linger lay flat on the carpet with her tail curled far to one side, emitting unique soft meows. The noises she made held no trace of pain, instead carrying obvious sounds of willing reciprocation. I froze solid, standing in the apartment entryway, completely stunned. My initial emotional reaction was neither burning rage nor visceral disgust. Only an absurd, darkly humorous sense of surreal shock washed over my consciousness. Ethan went to extreme lengths, blocking every possible route for Linger to encounter outside male cats. Yet an unknown stray tomcat somehow climbed through the second-floor bay window unobstructed to mate with his precious kitten right inside our living room. I wondered how devastated he would feel witnessing this chaotic scene once he returned home from work. The strange thought even sparked a faint, quiet chuckle deep inside my chest. I briefly considered snapping a photograph of the bizarre scene to show Ethan later as ironic proof his careful plans had failed entirely. I unlocked my phone camera application and raised the device, aiming directly at the two mating cats. Inside the camera viewfinder, Linger twisted her head around to extend her tongue and lick the tomcat's muzzle tenderly. The gesture carried such obvious natural affection it looked nothing like forced animal mating behavior. The stray tomcat reciprocated the gentle gesture by rubbing his forehead against Linger's cheek fur. Before I could tap the shutter button, thousands of floating bullet screen comments exploded instantly across my vision field. Lamau, the side character wife, is still holding her phone ready to take pictures. She has zero idea this stray tomcat is her husband, shifted via transmigration system. The female lead kitten is genius for using the system to take feline form and move into his apartment openly to stay close to him. The male lead dotes on her endlessly. He also activated system transformation to become a cat. He's mating with her right in front of his unaware human wife. What a thrilling plot twist. Poor Linger deliberately went into heat to lure the male lead into shifting cat form to meet her. Stop spoiling the plot for new readers. Let the wife figure everything out slowly on her own. This wife is extremely oblivious. Her husband constantly calls her Linger, meaning never forget her, yet she never suspected a thing. She's merely a background side character written into this transmigration novel's plot framework. 3 seconds of pity for the wife, then back to shipping our cat couple main characters. I kept my eyes fixed on the intertwined felines while slowly lowering my smartphone down to my hip. My brain short-circuited, completely processing all sudden newly revealed information simultaneously. The stray tomcat was Ethan shifted into animal form. Linger, the white kitten, was his hidden secret mistress. Transmigration novel world, omnipresent observation system, human to animal shape-shifting. Background side character wife trope all crashed through my prior understanding of reality at once. I drew 3 slow deep inhales to force my racing heartbeat back under control and calm my chaotic thoughts. The first priority required full confirmation whether these floating bullet screen remarks held factual truth. I refocused my full attention onto the 2 cats sprawled on the carpet floor. I easily recognized Linger instantly, snow-white coat with a gray patch atop her head paired with distinctive amber irises. The stray tomcat I initially dismissed as a random neighborhood feral now revealed tiny subtle details I overlooked before during my first glance. His eyes held an unusual transparent honey amber shade instead of the murky yellow irises typical of outdoor strays. The identical unique eye color Ethan possesses in his human form. Back during our pre-marriage blind date, my girlfriend repeatedly told me Ethan held remarkably attractive eyes. I brushed her compliment off with casual skepticism back then. Yet the second our eyes met face to face, found myself genuinely stunned by his iris hue, deep translucent amber resembling melted thick golden honey. Right now, the stray tomcat twisted his head to lock his amber gaze directly onto my standing figure. The look in his eyes carried distinctly human cognitive awareness rather than ordinary feline wariness or apathy. He recognized my identity and analyzed my facial expressions to judge whether I uncovered their hidden secret. A cold, heavy dread sank deep down into my stomach. I caught a second critical identifying feature on the tomcat's front right foreleg. A small bald patch of fur exposing a thin scar the exact size of a human fingernail. Ethan bears an identical scar on the inner wrist of his left hand. That injury occurred during our first year of marriage. He attempted cooking a homemade birthday dinner for me and accidentally splashed boiling cooking oil onto his wrist skin. I remember that scar's irregular, jagged leaf-shaped outline with crystal clear precision. The bald fur patch on the cat's limb matched the scar's odd contour perfectly. All blood in my body turned cold and stagnant within a single heartbeat. I stood less than 3 meters away from the mating pair, illuminated by afternoon window sunlight streaming inside our apartment. The floating online commentary bullet points continued scrolling nonstop across my line of sight. The side character wife appears to have pieced together the truth judging by her pale face. Did the plot reveal itself this quickly? I wanted more cat from romance scenes to read. I actually feel a twinge of sympathy for the wife trapped in this messy love triangle. Don't act overly sympathetic. This is a transmigration novel main couple romance plot. Readers always take the male and female lead's side regardless of the side character's suffering. I wonder if the system shop sells invisible transformation charms for more secret cat mating scenes. I closed my eyes briefly, then reopened them to watch the 2 cats still intertwined together. Linger rolled over onto her back, rubbing the tomcat's neck with her head, emitting soft rumbling purrs of satisfaction. The stray tom lowered his head to lick the fine fur along Linger's ear canal with extreme gentle care, as if handling priceless fragile treasure. I inhaled a long steady breath to steady my frayed nerves. Very well then, everything became crystal clear to me now. I turned toward the apartment entry hallway and lifted the hard-sided plastic pet travel carrier resting beside the shoe storage cabinet. Ethan purchased this carrier specifically for Linger's vaccination appointments and never used it even a single time prior. Shiny silver metal latches glinted under natural sunlight filtering through the windows. I carried the carrier back across the living room toward the 2 oblivious felines. They remained fully absorbed in their mating act without noticing my approaching footsteps. Or rather, they noticed my presence yet dismissed me entirely. Inside their novel's predetermined plot, existed as a disposable background side character wife bound to exit the story quietly once the secret affair came to light. New bullet screen comments flooded my vision rapidly. What is the wife grabbing that pet carrier for? No way she isn't planning to trap both cats inside it, right? This side character refuses to follow the original novel's written script. I'm screaming. This plot twist completely caught me off guard. She's capturing both transmigration main leads all at once. I knelt flat on the hardwood floor and flipped open the carrier's front metal door. Linger lifted her amber eyes toward me for a split second, displaying faint instinctual alertness. Yet the heat cycle's overwhelming hormonal urges clouded her judgment instantly. She twisted back to press her body against the tomcat once more, ignoring my presence entirely. The stray tomcat possessed far sharper animal instincts than Linger. He fixed his amber irises sharply onto my figure, sending clear warning signals through his gaze. I fully understood the silent, threatening message hidden within his stare. He intended to warn me against making any sudden disruptive movements. I maintained a completely blank, neutral facial expression toward him without reacting to his silent threat. Then I acted with lightning-fast, coordinated movements. My left hand seized the loose skin on the nape of Linger's neck to restrain her securely. My right hand grabbed the stray tomcat's scruff simultaneously. I first deposited Linger inside the travel carrier, then lifted the feral tomcat and placed him alongside her within the enclosed crate. The tomcat twisted his head around to glance at me the moment I lowered him into the carrier interior. His amber eyes overflowed with vivid human emotions, complete shock, boiling rage, and concealed panicked alarm all blended together. He clearly could not fathom why the designated passive background wife refused to follow the novel's pre-written plot progression. I snapped the metal latch shut firmly, locking both cats securely inside the carrier crate. The bullet screen commentary exploded into chaotic, rapid scrolling text across my vision field. Lamau, this wife character is absolutely ruthless. One carrier holds both main leads for simultaneous spay or neuter surgery. The male lead cat is seething with rage trapped inside that crate. Where is his omnipotent transmigration system? Tell him to shift back to human form immediately. System alert. Host detected high-risk exposure scenario. Shifting forms will reveal identity to the wife. Choose your survival path wisely. Neuter surgery versus public identity exposure. That's a brutal forced choice. I cannot stop laughing at this unexpected plot development. I ignored all floating commentary text overlaying my eyesight and unlocked my smartphone contact list. I tapped the animal hospital's saved phone number and initiated a voice call. Hello, Dr. Lin. I need 2 feline sterilization surgeries scheduled immediately. 1 male tomcat and 1 female kitten. I will transport both animals to your clinic within 10 minutes. I ended the phone call after confirming the appointment details. I lifted the heavy travel carrier by its built-in top handle. Both cats yowled continuously from inside the crate. The tomcat's cries carried distinct undertones of human-like furious anger buried within his feline vocalizations. I glanced down through the carrier's transparent mesh window at him briefly. Stop making noise. Once we reach the clinic, the surgical anesthetic will eliminate all discomfort for you. The bullet screen comments continued flooding my field of vision without pause. I retract my prior sympathy for the male lead. This wife is terrifyingly decisive. The male lead cat must be mentally plotting how to retaliate against her. System, why can't you activate emergency shapeshift transformation for your host now? System response. Human form transformation will fully expose all hidden affair evidence to the wife. Choosing between neutering or public exposure, what a nightmare predicament for him. I'm rolling on the floor laughing at this dark humor plot twist. I carried the travel carrier out of the apartment front door and walked down the residential building stairwell. The carrier swayed back and forth in my grip while loud, desperate cat meows echoed out from within its mesh walls. Several elderly neighborhood women loitering in the building lobby turned to stare curiously at the noisy crate. Young lady, what's wrong with those cats crying so mournfully? I offered a faint calm smile in response to their questioning glances. I'm taking them to the animal hospital for spay and neuter procedures. I glanced down again at the gray tomcat visible through the carrier mesh screen. His amber eyes brimmed with raw and masked animal terror, the fear a male feline experiences facing neutering surgery. A faint bitter chuckle bubbled up inside my chest unconsciously. Ethan, you repeatedly argued sterilization surgeries were unbearably cruel to animals. You insisted every living creature deserved full natural reproductive rights. You claimed you could not bear watching any cat endure surgical pain. How does that fear feel staring at your own upcoming operation now? The walk from my apartment building to the downtown animal clinic takes roughly 10 minutes on foot. During that brief transit window, my mind rapidly dissected and reorganized every tiny suspicious detail I overlooked over the past 6 weeks. The kitten's name Linger echoed repeatedly through my thoughts. Linger meaning endlessly yearning for someone you cannot possess openly. Back then I merely thought the name choice sounded slightly odd without realizing its hidden emotional connotation. Now every piece of the puzzle slotted perfectly into its proper place. Ethan never named a stray house cat.